Welcome back to Trash Plays Marvel Champions. Today we are playing Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, versus Apocalypse again. But this time it is called Sabah instead of, well, Apocalypse. This seems like a more standard fight. The card that is here, the permanent setup card, is a part of Clan Aqaba, which is not a part of Apocalypse. That's like a modular encounter set you could use, I guess. And the only strange thing is that Apocalypse is a big folding card. I've never seen this before. I've only played the cards that are in current, quote unquote. So this is a different thing for me. This should be interesting. For Apocalypse, we get dealt a face down encounter card right away, and the main scheme goes up to 8. There are 2 of them, and force response after resolving step 1 at the villain phase, place 1 power counter here. So that's a different counter from a threat, obviously, so I guess I'm going to use a +1 counter, because it only goes up to 4. Then if there are at least 4 counters here, the first player removes 4 of them and discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a superpower card is discarded and reveals it. So I guess just every 4 turns you get dealt another card. That's not that bad, I guess. Like, whatever. So let us begin by drawing our hand size of 6. Now, Bobby Drake is all about playing ice cards, so I feel like I should probably... Okay, so I have X-Gene in my opening hand. I'm going to play that, obviously. Ice Wall is pretty expensive, so I don't want to play that, so I'm going to use that to pay for X-Gene. I don't need Suppressing Fire, there are no minions, and I want to keep Clobber and Arctic Attack, maybe? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to mulligan Suppressing Fire and take that. Draw 2 more cards, another Arctic Attack, and a Kinetic Perception. What is this? Hero response after you resolve your freeze ability. Exhaust this card, draw 1 card if that card has the ice trait ready Iceman. Okay, never mind. I actually need to play Kinetic Perception. That is the more important card to play. So, in Alter Ego form, because right now I have Mutant trait, in Hero form I don't have the Mutant trait, so I'm going to use my Ice Wall to pay for X-Gene. X-Gene is a resource generator. Play only if you have the Mutant trait, and resource exhaust X-Gene to generate a wild resource for an identity-specific event. So I'm going to flip over to Iceman. And, oh wait, I just realized Clobber won't come back into my hand because I already played X-Gene, so it was kind of a waste to get Clobber. I guess in that case I would just use the Clobber and the Arctic Attack to pay for my Cryokinetic Perception. And then Iceman is going to attack Apocalypse. And this is going to deal 2 damage. And Iceman has the ability Freeze. Interrupt when Iceman makes a basic attack or defense against an enemy. Attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy. Now, Frostbite is its own, like, entire card that's kind of big. And in theory, you could stack multiple on them. So I kind of don't want to do that. So I think I'm just going to use my exhaustion tokens to represent Freeze instead. And this is just permanent. Attached enemy gets minus scheme and -1 attack. And after the attached enemy activates or leaves play, set this card aside. So I can just keep in mind that only 6 of these can be out at a time. And I'll just remember it that way. So this is going to have 1 freeze on them, and then I'm going to exhaust my Cryokinetic Perception to draw 1 card, and if it has the ice trait, I get the ready Iceman. Unfortunately, that did not have the ice trait, but that allows me to then pay for Arctic Attack by using my X-Gene. Exhaust X-Gene resource, generate a wild for an identity-specific event. This is an identity-specific event. Cost 2, I'll use my surprise move to pay for it. Hero action attack, choose to either deal 4 damage to an enemy and attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to it, or deal 6 damage to an enemy with Frostbite attached. And I'm thinking that I might want to just go straight for the damage. So I'm going to go for the 6 damage straight to Apocalypse. So he's up to 8 damage already, and that's going to be the end of my turn. So let us draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything unexhaust, and it is the main schemes. Gets 1. After threat is placed here... Oh, right. Ancient Ritual says, after threat is placed here, if there is at least 10 threat here, remove 5 from the scheme and deal each player a face-down encounter card. So I don't know how threat gets put onto here, but I'm assuming it's from cards in Clan Aqaba. So Apocalypse is going to attack for 2. Well, he has a freeze, so he attacks for 1, and I'm just not going to block this, I don't think. Yeah, I feel like... Ooh, I have 2 snow clones in my hand. Yeah, I'm not going to block this, because I want to play my snow clones. Or I want my snow clones to be effective, so I'm not going to block this. He's attacking for 1 + 1, that's 2 damage. And then we get dealt a face down card. Oh, Apocalypse in this form attacks gain overkill, and after Apocalypse changes to this form, deal 1 indirect damage to each player. So he has not changed to this form, so I don't think I have to deal the damage to myself just yet. And then the first face down card is Staggering Strength, attached to Apocalypse, +2 attack, Force Interrupt, oh, and change him to Giant form. Okay. Attach to Apocalypse and change him to Giant form. So I guess he now looks like this. 2 scheme, 2 attack, same HP, Stalwart, Force Interrupt after Apocalypse changes to this form, heal 1 damage from him. That's not that bad. Okay, and then Force Interrupt when Apocalypse attacks you, you are stunned. Discard after this activation. So this is kind of like, what's her name? She-Hulk's superhuman strength. And then the second card is going to be Tyrant Worship. When revealed, place 5 threat on Ancient Ritual. Well, that's going to place 5 threat on here, and it already has 5, so that's going to reach 10, then we're going to remove 5, and then I get a face-down encounter card. So this basically acted as a surge, so that's not that bad. So Hot-Headed. Give to the Bobby Drake player force response. This is an obligation. After you attach a Frostbite upgrade to an enemy, take 1 damage. Ouch. And then Alter Ego response. After you make a basic recovery, discard this card. I only have 11 HP. I don't really want to deal with that, but I also don't want to turn over and heal right now either. I think I'm going to at least get 1 Frostbite on him. I'm going to attack and deal 1 damage to 2 damage to Apocalypse, so he's up to 9, which will deal me 1 damage from my Hot-Headed. He doesn't have Retaliate. Yeah, he doesn't have Retaliate. But this way I can use my Cryokinetic Perception to draw a card. That's Clobber. I haven't played a card yet, so I could use Clobber, get it back into my hand, and I won't have enough to play 2 Snow Clones, and I want to play the 2 Snow Clones. So instead, I'm going to use 2 and 2. 2 for 1 Snow Clone, and 2 for a second Snow Clone. And Snow Clones are 2 cost allies, 2 HP, 2 attack, 1 consequential damage. They cannot have upgrades attached, but Snow Clone takes -1 consequential damage after it attacks an enemy with a Frostbite attached. So that's why I wanted to attach a Frostbite to Apocalypse, because I can have both Snow Clones now attack Apocalypse, who does have a Frostbite, so they take no damage from this, and he's going to take 4 damage. So he's up to 13 damage now. I think that's going to be it. Yeah, that's going to be it. I think I might be trying to rush him down just a little bit. I am playing Aggression after all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Everything on exhaust. Main scheme gets 1. And, oh, it's been 2 turns. So this should have 2 counters for the every 4 power counter thing. Okay. So then Apocalypse is going to attack for 1. I'm just going to take this. I think I might just take this and then turn over and recover. So he's attacking for 3 actually because of this Staggering Strength, and I will be stunned. So he's attacking for 3. Clan Akaba Zealot. Boost, place 1 threat on Ancient Ritual. And then this is a 2 boost. So that's going to be 5 damage to me. I'm up to 8 damage. That's not great. And then the Frostbite goes away, followed by a face down card, and I'm stunned. And this goes away. Evil Alliance. When revealed, the Nemesis minion in play attacks you. If no minions activated this way, place 3 pursuit counters on Pursued by the Past. Yikes. Okay, so that puts it up. I'm about to get my Nemesis minion out right away as well. So now it's my turn. I'm thinking I might just want to use my Frozen Solid on Apocalypse. This is hero form only, attached to an enemy, max 1 per enemy, Force Interrupt. When the attached enemy would activate, discard Frozen Solid instead. Then attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy, so then I can turn over and heal. I'm trying to think about how I could possibly still get him to have an ice counter and turn over and heal. But I don't think that I can. In theory, if I were to... Oh, I can't even attack because I'm stunned. Yeah, I can't attack because I'm stunned. Alright, fine. Let's just use 3 for the Frozen Solid. Yeah, let's just use 3 for Frozen Solid on Apocalypse, and I'm going to turn over to Bobby Drake. Bobby Drake has Cool Off. After you change to this form, shuffle 1 ice card from your discard pile into your deck for each copy of Frostbite in play. There are no copies of Frostbite in play, unfortunately, but I'm going to exhaust myself to heal for 4, and the Hot-Headed should go away. After you make a basic recovery, discard this card. Yeah, so this is going to get discarded. As for everyone else, I think I'm just going to not attack Yeah, I'm just not going to do anything with anyone else. So that's going to be the end of my turn. Draw back up to 6, and I'm going to keep the chill out in my hand because I actually really want to remove threats from the main scheme. So let's see what happens next. Main scheme is going to get 1. That puts 1 more counter on the Sabah pyramid. And Apocalypse tries to activate, but the frozen solid goes away instead. And it gives him a frostbite. And then we get dealt a face down card. That first face down card is Drawing Nearer. After your turn... this is freaking Drawing Nearer every single freaking time. And that means my Nemesis is about to come out. That's like 5 games in a row that I got Drawing Nearer. Okay. Well, at least that's the worst thing that happened. So now it is my turn. I have to discard the top card of my deck, and 1 counter gets put on Pursued by the Past, and that activates Pursued by the Past, bringing out my Nemesis minion and my Nemesis side scheme. So that's going to be Pyro, Playing with Fire, and no other Nemesis minions. And then these will get shuffled into the encounter deck. And what's going on here? Pyro is a 1-3 with Quick Strike. Luckily I am in Alter Ego form, so the Quick Strike won't apply. And Pyro's attacks deal indirect damage. Okay. And then Playing with Fire. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme discards the top 3 cards of the deck and take 1 indirect damage for each resource icon discarded this way. And it has an Amplify icon. What do I want to do? I would really like to discard that Drawing Nearer. I could discard my Chill Out to get rid of the Drawing Nearer, and then play another Frozen Solid. That is a possibility. I could do that. Yeah, you know what? In Alter Ego form, I'm going to discard my Chill Out to get rid of the Drawing Nearer, so that goes away. And then I will exhaust myself to heal 4, so I'm back down to 0. Flip over to hero form, and play another Frozen Solid on Apocalypse. Then I will use Suppressing Fire on Pyro, attached to a minion, max 1 per minion. Hero interrupt when you attack and defeat the attached minion. No, never mind. This is actually not the best idea to do it this way. Give me a second. Instead, I will use the Power of Aggression, because I have not played a card yet. There have been no cards that I've played, so I'm going to use the Power of Aggression to play Clobber, deal 3 damage to an enemy. It doesn't matter, this is an attack. So this will get rid of my Stunned. No, I don't think it works that way. I think the entire attack gets cancelled, so it doesn't come back into my hand. Fine, whatever. I'll do what I originally said. 3 for the Frozen Solid, and then both Snow Clones are going to attack Pyro. They're both going to take 1 consequential damage, so they have 1 attack left each. But that will defeat Pyro, so he doesn't have to be someone I have to deal with. And the Playing with Fire is still there, but that's okay-ish. It's okay-ish. And I will deal with that later. So that's going to be the end of my turn. Drawing back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the main scheme gets 1. And then the 4th counter gets put on Sabah, so I get dealt a face down... No. I discard cards from the top of the encounter deck into a superpower card. Superpower card is discarded. And reveal it. Okay, so this is Technological Interface. When revealed, if Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, he is not, he's in Giant, he activates against you. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Cyberpath and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. So now he changes over to Cyberpath. He has Retaliate 1. Force response after Apocalypse changes to this form, place 1 threat on each scheme in play. So that's going to be 1 on Ancient Ritual, 1 on the main scheme, and 1 on Playing with Fire. Oh, Playing with Fire has an acceleration icon, so this goes up to 7, actually. And this places 1 power counter on the main scheme as well. So now Apocalypse tries to activate, but he's Frozen Solid, so this goes away, and he gets another Frozen counter, followed by a face down card. That face down card is Source of Power, Superpower. When defeated, if Apocalypse is in Biomorph form, he activates against the player who defeated the scheme. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Biomorph form and give him a tough status card, and this has an Amplify icon. And it comes into play with 5. Jeez. Okay, things are heating up very quickly. But that's going to be the end for his turn, and now it's my turn. Unfortunately, he has Retaliate 1, so I don't really want to attack him with my Snow Clones. I'm thinking I use 3 for the power of... or for aggressive conditioning, using the power of aggression. That gives me +1 attack, so I can attack Apocalypse and he would be defeated in stage 1. and then figure things out from there. So I'm going to use 3 for aggressive conditioning, gives me +1 attack and +3 hit points. Iceman is going to attack Apocalypse, which will put a frost counter on him, and I will have defeated Apocalypse, so he doesn't have Retaliate 1, right? I don't know how this works. Just to be safe, I'm going to deal myself the 1 damage, but I don't think he's supposed to deal the Retaliate. So that deals 3 damage to Apocalypse, sets him back down to 0 damage, and he changes to Apocalypse 3, and I don't think he changes forms. I think he stays in whatever form he's currently in. That makes the most sense. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. So I'm going to put Apocalypse 1 out of play, and put him on Apocalypse 2. After doing that, I have resolved my freeze, so I will use my Cryokinetic Perception to draw a card, and I have not drawn an ice card yet, unfortunately, so I can't ready Iceman. At this point, I probably should use my Chill Out to thwart. So let's use X Gene and Audacity to pay for Chill Out. Remove 3 threats from my schemes. Attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to an enemy. So I'm going to remove 3 from the main scheme and set 1 more Frostbite on Apocalypse. So he's now at -4. Now I don't know if he can go into negative. Attached enemy gets -1 scheme and -1 attack, but it doesn't say if that gives him, if he can go into negative. I'm going to check real quick. Okay, so it's basically negative, but it would cap out at 0. It can go down to 0, basically, after the boost. So main scheme is going to get 2 from playing with fire, and then this is going to get 1 counter. Apocalypse is going to attack at a... This minuses 1, so it's basically -2. So he's attacking for -2 with a boost of 2, so that deals 0 damage. Yeah, that deals 0 damage, and that gets rid of all the Frostbite counters on him. Followed by a face-down card. That face-down card is Guard Clan Akaba Zealot. Guard, when defeated, place 2 threat on Ancient Ritual, 2/2/3. And, oh, I forgot to draw my hand of 5. Well, I have my Power Belt in my hand, so I should probably play the Power Belt. I'm going to use the Suppressing Fire on Clan Akaba, because I'm about to... I don't want to play the... Because I want to play the Power Belt. If I play the Power Belt, I'm not going to have enough to pay for... These should be unexhausted. I'm not going to have enough to pay for the Ice Blast, which I really want to do. No, wait, I will have enough to pay for the Ice Blast, because the Power Belt can generate a wild resource for an Ice card. So yeah, I'm going to do this. Suppressing Fire and take that for my Power Belt. Another resource generator. Power Belt also give me +3 HP, by the way. So I'm going to use my Power Belt and my X Gene and Combat Training for Ice Blast. Choose a player, me, attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to the villain, and each minion engage with that player. So that's going to be Apocalypse and Clan Akaba Zealot. Deal 3 damage to each enemy with a copy of Frostbite attached, so that's going to be Apocalypse taking 3, and Clan Akaba Zealot taking 3, which will defeat him, which will put 2 threat on Ancient Ritual. This is also not an attack, so I won't take Retaliate damage. So that's pretty good. And he has 20 HP. That's not that much. I could rush him down, I think, fairly efficiently. How many cards are left in my deck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Unfortunately, I have no more ice cards in my deck. All my ice cards have been seen. So I think what I'm going to do... You know what? That's fine. It's not the worst thing in the world to just attack. Sure, I'll take 1 Retaliate damage. Iceman will attack for another 3, putting him up to 6 damage, and I will take 1 Retaliate damage. And... that's going to be the end of my turn, maybe? No, wait, no, I won't do that. I'm going to thwart, because the main scheme's about to get completed. The main scheme's about to get completed. I completely forgot about that. Because of the acceleration icon, it only goes up to 8. So I'm going to thwart for 1, a measly 1. And that's going to be the end of my turn. So... everything unexhaust, I draw back up to my hand size of 5. There's only 4 cards in my deck, so the main scheme, or the enemies are going to get a face-down card, and I have to shuffle my deck. Unfortunately, I don't have that many non-ice upgrades on my board, so my deck is full of non-ice cards instead of ice cards, so my Cryokinetic Perception isn't likely to ready me. So, main scheme gets 2, it's up to 7. It also gets 1 counter from the N7er. Apocalypse is going to attack. I still need to draw my 5th card. Team building exercise. Okay. So Apocalypse is going to attack for 0, 1 basically because of the source of power. I'm just going to take this. So he's doing Star Boost. After this activation resolves, place 1 pursued counter on pursued by the past. So no boost, -1 attack, +1 attack from source of power, so I take 1 damage. Then the Frostbite goes away, and they get dealt a face down card. First face down card is Sinister Strike. Place 1 counter on Pursued by the Past. Then if it has any counters, the villain attacks you. He's attacking at full strength this time, but that's okay. He only has 1 attack, so I'll still just take this. So he's attacking for 2 basically because of the thing, and are freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? So 1 more on Pursued by the Past, so he's attacking for 2. Second card is Technological Interference. When revealed, if Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, which he is, he activates against you. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Cyberpath form and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. So he's attacking me yet again, and I'm still just gonna take this. He's attacking for 1 plus star. After this activation, change Apocalypse to Giant form. So that's going to be 2 more damage to me, so I'm up to 6. And then he changes to Giant form, which, oh man, if I had Retaliate there, that would have been beautiful. Okay, so he's in Giant form, he has Stalwart. After Apocalypse changes to this form, heal 2 damage from him. But, so he's down to 1 damage, but now he no longer has Retaliate, so I'm kinda cool with that. So let's see what I can do now. Let's start with Iceman attacking Apocalypse, putting a Frost counter on him, dealing 3 damage to Apocalypse. And then I get to exhaust my Cryokinetic Perception to draw a card. Please be Ice. It's not Ice. I guess now I can use 3 for Take That, the Power of Aggression with Suppressing Fire for Take That, deals 7 damage with to an enemy with an upgrade attached, and as a reminder, Frostbite is an upgrade. So I get to deal 7 more damage to Apocalypse, he's up to 11 damage, and then let's use Team Building Exercise and Chill Out to pay for Shark Girl. Shark Girl will be my 3rd ally. And Shark Girl, while she's attacking, she gets +1 attack for each upgrade attached to the enemy. He also has Frostbite on, so both Snow Clones are going to attack at -1 consequential damage, dealing 4 more damage to him, so he's up to 15 damage. Followed by Shark Girl attacking for 3 damage because he has 1 upgrade attached to him, so that's going to be 3 more damage. He's up to 18, and he is almost dead. Main scheme is going to get 1, and it's also going to get a counter from Sabah. Well, it's going to get 2 from the acceleration icon. So that's going to complete the main scheme. And Sabah's pyramid is also going to get the 4th counter. Let's see what happens when we go to stage 2A. When revealed, the first player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a superpower card is revealed, and then reveals it, and then flips over to the Rise of Apocalypse. Force response: after resolving step 1 at the villain phase, place 1 power counter here. If there are at least 4 power counters here, the first player removes 4 of them. Discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a superpower card is discarded and reveals it. If this scheme is completed, the players lose the game, so that's the same as the previous one, it just goes up to 10 instead of 8. And it got the 4 counters, so now I discard cards from the top of the deck until a superpower is revealed and reveals it. These are both Biomorphic Blast Treachery cards. When revealed, if Apocalypse is in Biomorph form, he activates against you. He is not in Biomorph form, otherwise change Apocalypse to Biomorph form and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. So he changes first to Biomorph form, that's this one, his attack skin Overkill. And after he changes to this form, deal 2 indirect damage to each player. I will just take that 2 damage because I have plus 6 HP at the moment. I have a total of 17 HP. Yeah, I have a total of 17 HP. But I only have 9 HP left. So then that's the first Biomorphic Blast. Second Biomorphic Blast, he is in Biomorph form, so he will now activate against me. He does 3 attack, 2 attack, 3 attack because of the Amplify icon, and his attacks gain Overkill, so I shouldn't chump block anyways. So I guess I'll just take this. He's attacking for 3 plus star after this. Oh my goodness. Are you freaking kidding me? So after this, Pursued by the Past will activate, and I take 3 damage right now. I'm up to 11 damage. Now, because Pursued by the Past activates, I have to find my Nemesis minion and reveal it. Search my set-aside area for my Nemesis side scheme and reveal it, but it's already out there. Okay, so I have to find Pyro and reveal him. Maybe I should have thwarted the main scheme. Maybe I shouldn't have been so greedy with that. I should have just thwarted the main scheme one time. Things would be a lot better right now if I did that. I forgot to draw my hand of 5. Do I have defense events in this deck at all? I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't see any defense events. So, now the Frostbite goes away. And Apocalypse is going to attack yet again. Oh, Apocalypse is going to attack again. But his attacks gain Overkill. So I think I have to defend this, because if he boosts for 6, or if he boosts with a 3 boost. That brings his attack up to 7, which will defeat me. What will defeat me? I have 17 HP, so I can take 6 more damage, so if he boosts for 2, I will be defeated. So I do have to exhaust Iceman to defend this. Oh wait, Pyro has Quick Strike. He was revealed. So he's going to attack with 3 damage as well. And his attacks deal indirect damage. So I get to spread that out between me and my allies. I think I just have to risk having all my allies die. So I'm going to spread that out 1 to each of my allies who only have 1 HP left each. So that's going to defeat them all. No wait, but then he's still going to attack. I think I'm dead. I think I've lost. I should not have attacked Apocalypse. I should have just thwarted the main scheme. Because Apocalypse is attacking, I'm defending for 2. So he's attacking for 3 plus a 3 boost. 7 minus 2 is 5. That puts me up to 16 out of 17 damage. But then Pyro is going to attack again, because the Quick Strike was not his actual initiation attack, his actual attack. So now I'm going to just take 3 damage, and I'm up to 19 damage and I lose. Oh my goodness, okay, I should have just thwarted the main scheme. Yeah. Well, just out of curiosity, what was the next card to be revealed? Giant Growth. When defeated, gives me +1 card every turn. When defeated, if Apocalypse is in Giant form, he activates against the player who defeated the scheme, blah blah blah. So basically, if I lasted 1 more turn, I would have won. I could have just attacked Apocalypse, but that didn't happen. I mean, that was really close. If I just played smart, I would have won. So let's try that again. First impressions though, really like Iceman. Iceman's pretty cool. I thought I would like Nightcrawler more than Iceman, just based off the initial impressions when I saw his cards. But Iceman is pretty cool, I like his thing. Alright, let's try this again. I think that the plan this time is to thwart 1 from the Ancient Ritual, just to start off with, because I don't want to get 1 encounter card right away. And then after that, just sort of wail on Apocalypse again. I did add 2 copies of Target Spotter into this deck that came with the Shuri Black Panther pack, I believe. When I first saw that card, I was like, what is the point of this card? Like, who cares about this card? But now that I am playing Standard 3 with Bobby Drake and Pyro having Quick Strike, I can now see how that would be quite useful in aggression. So, let's do our hand of 6 and begin. I have my Frozen Solid right away, and 2 Snow Clones again. 2 more Snow Clones again. Jeez, alright. I guess I'll just play my 2 Snow Clones. So, 2 Snow Clones come into play, switch over to Iceman, and I said I was going to thwart the main scheme, but I'm just going to attack Apocalypse because I have 2 Snow Clones. So I'm attacking for 2, plus as 2 Snow Clones are going to attack, dealing a total of 6 damage. He does not have Retaliate at the moment, so that's okay. And that's going to be the end of my turn, I guess. So draw back up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the main scheme is going to get 1. This is going to get 1, followed by Apocalypse attacking for 2. I'm just going to take this. He's attacking for 2 plus star. After this activation, change Apocalypse to Biomorph form. And he is already in Biomorph form, so I don't believe he changes out of Biomorph into Biomorph, dealing the force response. So he's attacking for just 1 damage, and then I have to deal another face down card. First face down card is going to be Scarab. Quick Strike. Exactly what I was talking about. I should have... Where is my Target Spotter? So, I'm just going to take this Quick Strike damage, 3 attack. Force response after Scarab attacks, place 1 threat on Ancient Ritual, 3 threats instead if the attack defeated an ally. Well, I'm not going to let it defeat an ally then in that case. And then the second card is going to be Clan Akaba Zealot. Guard, when defeated, place 2 threat on Ancient Ritual. So now it is my turn. I have Combat Training, take that. Audacity, Surprise Move. Surprise Move, hey, there we go. Okay, when you make a basic attack against an enemy with an upgrade attached, you get +2 attack for this attack if the attack defeats that enemy. Ready your hero. Do I have an upgrade I can attach? I do not. Well, I can play Chill Out. I can use Audacity and take that to play Chill Out, remove 3 threats from my scheme, attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to an enemy. I can put that Frostbite on an enemy, and then use Surprise Move to defeat that enemy. Yeah, that might be the play. So I'm going to use 2 Take That and Audacity. When I spend this card, I get to deal 1 damage to a villain, so I'm going to deal 1 damage to Apocalypse, and then remove 3 threat from a scheme. I'm going to remove that from the Ancient Ritual, and attach a copy of Frostbite to an enemy. I'm going to attach that to Scarab. Then I'm going to have Snow Clone attack Scarab for 2, which will not defeat it, but it won't deal 1 consequential damage to Snow Clone, followed by Iceman attacking Scarab, and I'm going to use Combat Training to pay for a surprise move. I get +2 attack for this attack, which will defeat Scarab, and that means I get to ready my hero. Scarab is defeated. I am now readied. Iceman is then going to attack Clan Akaba Zealot for 2, which will give him a Frostbite, so Snow Clone can attack the Akaba Zealot for free, which will defeat the Zealot. And when defeated, place 2 threat on Ancient Ritual, so this is back up to 5. And that's going to be the end of my turn. Drawing back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Main scheme gets 1, and 1 more counter gets put on En Sabah. Apocalypse is going to attack for 2. I'm just going to take this. Yeah, I'm just going to take this. He's attacking for 2 plus star. After this activation, change to giant form. So I take 2 damage. And Apocalypse changes to giant form. He has Stalwart, and after he changes to this form, heals 1 damage from him. So he's back down to 6 damage, and then we get dealt a face down card. That card is Staggering Strength. Attached to Apocalypse and change him to giant form, which he is already in. +2 attack, and when he attacks me, I am stunned, and discard this card after that activation. So now it's my turn. I would love that aggressive conditioning. Yeah, I'm just going to use 3 for aggressive conditioning to give me +1 attack and +3 HP, and I'm going to save the Ice Blast in my hand. So Iceman is going to attack for 2. Oh no, 3, and that puts 1 Frostbite on him. He's up to 9 damage, followed by both Snow Clones attacking, dealing another 4 damage, putting him at 13 out of 16 HP. And that's going to be the end of my turn. I'm going to save Ice Blast in my hand, drawing back up to 5. So, main scheme gets 1 more. En Sabah gets 1 more. Apocalypse attacks for 1 +2, attacks for 3. I'm at 6 out of 14. I can take this hit, so I'm just going to take this hit. He's attacking for 3. Yeah, he's attacking for 3 plus boost. After this activation resolves, place 1 pursue counter on pursued by the past. So 3 more damage to me, I'm up to 9. And 1 counter gets put on pursued by the past. I would love to see that target spotter before that gets activated. Followed, and then superhuman strength goes away, but I get stunned. Followed by a face down card of Tyrant Worship. When revealed, place 5 threat on Ancient Ritual, which will complete Ancient Ritual, which will remove 5 from it, putting it back down to 5, giving me another face down card, which I will flip for Celestial Tech. When revealed, for each Celestial attachment in play, resolve its effect as if the villain just schemed against you and attacked you. If there are no Celestial upgrades on the villain, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Celestial upgrade and reveal it. A Celestial upgrade. Well, I think he's most likely to scheme, or he's most likely to attack me instead of scheme, so I think I'm going to put the Celestial armor on him. That seems to be the only... Yeah, it's either armor or weapon, so I'm going to put the armor on him. This is also going to go away, and then I would like... Ooh, I have my Cryokinetic Perception. I also have my Clobber, but I can't really use that. Actually, I think I might just have to flip over and heal, and let the main scheme complete, unfortunately. Yeah, I might have to use 2 for Cryokinetic Perception, 1 for X-Gene, and that will basically set me up. Because I am stunned, and I don't really want to take another hit at the moment, so let's flip over to Bobby Drake. There are no copies of Frostbite in play, so I still don't get to use its ability, but I will recover for 4. And in Alter Ego mode, I'm going to use Team Building Exercise to pay for X-Gene, and I'm going to use Clobber and Ice Blast for the Cryokinetic Perception. And... yeah, if a Quick Strike minion were to come out, this would be the time, because I am in Alter Ego mode. So that's going to be the end of my turn. And I'm going to draw back up to 6. This is not a great turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Main scheme gets 1, and the pyramid also completes, so I get to discard cards from the top of the deck until a superpower is revealed. When revealed, if Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, he activates against you. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Cyberpath form and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. So he now has Retaliate, and after Apocalypse changes to this form, place 1 threat on each scheme in play, so that's going to be Ancient Ritual. Is this a scheme? No, this is an environment. Okay. So that's going to be Ancient Ritual, and the main scheme, putting it up to 6. That's okay. I was anticipating him completing the scheme anyways. So that's going to complete the scheme when he schemes for a total of 3, putting it up to 9 out of 10, or out of 8. So main scheme 1 goes away, move on to main scheme 2, which does the superpower thing, right? Yeah, discard cards until a superpower is revealed and reveal it. So this gets 1. And we get Staggering Strength. Oh yes, and after the villain schemes against you, discard the top card of your deck. He did just scheme, so we discard the top card of our deck, and if it has a mental resource, you are confused, discard this card. Wait, discard this card? Huh. Alright, sure, whatever. I'll discard that card. Followed by revealing a card. Wait, when did this come out? When did the Staggering Strength come out? That came out after he schemed. So now this gets attached to him and he gets changed back to giant form. And he heals 1 damage from himself. So now he gets dealt a face down card, and that face down card is Technological Interference. When revealed, if Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, he activates against you. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Cyberpath form and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. So he's changing form yet again, back to Retaliate, and he gets to place 1 threat on each scheme yet again, putting this up to 9. And the main scheme is at 1. No, 2, because it starts with 1. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it for him doing stuff. So, now it's my turn. I'm stunned and I'm confused. Well, I have Target Spotter in my hand, so I guess I might as well use that. Let's use the Power of Aggression to pay for the Target Spotter. I can't use Suppressing Fire because there are no minions. So I'm going to use that for something else. Let's go. Let's flip over back to hero form. And I'm going to attack to get rid of my stunned. Then I will use 2 for Arctic Attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy, and attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to it. So, wait, no, hold up. Which 2 am I going to use? Because I have Cryokinetic Perception and I have X-Gene as well, so I can actually do this for free, I think. Yeah. Oh, no, this does not generate a resource. So I can use X-Gene to pay for the Arctic Attack plus my Suppressing Fire. Yeah, that's actually does not matter because I won't have enough to pay for anything else, but sure. So I'm going to do that. Arctic Attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy, and attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to it, so he takes 4, puts him up to 16 out of 18. Wait, no, 16 out of 16. So that defeats him. That defeats him. So Apocalypse 1 is defeated, moves on to Apocalypse 2, and he is in Cyberpath form. He does have Retaliate, so I guess I will take 1. And then the Snow Clones will attack him, maybe... Oh, Target Spotter comes into play with 2 counters, and when a minion would engage a player, remove 1 counter from here. That minion cannot activate this until the end of the phase, so even if they try to attack multiple times, they will not be able to activate. So goodbye Quick Strike. Engage that minion, which I would do anyways. Actually, no, you know what's the better idea? I'm going to use the Arctic Attack first. So that would get rid of my stunned. Hold on. I'm going to use the Arctic Attack first to get rid of the stunned, so I'm not exhausted, and then Iceman is going to attack Apocalypse and deal 3 damage. I only have 3 attack, so that puts him at 15 out of 16. But that will allow me to do my freeze, which will allow me to exhaust my Cryokinetic Perception to draw a card, and if it has ice, I get to ready myself, which it does not, unfortunately, so I don't get to be readied. However, that gives me 2 cards to work with, so now I can use... Let's go 2 for Marrow. Play only if you have the X-Force or X-Men trait, which I do. Response after Marrow enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy, so that's going to deal the 2 damage to Apocalypse, defeating Apocalypse 1. So then I will use... If Marrow attacks, he will be defeated. I guess I will have both Snow Clones attack, because they take -1 consequential damage right now because he has a freeze on him. So they'll just take the Retaliate 1 damage instead. So they get to deal 4 damage to Apocalypse. And that's going to be the end of my turn. And I'll chump block with Marrow. So I'm still confused, but everything gets unexhausted. Main scheme gets 1. 1 gets put on Rise of Apocalypse. Apocalypse attacks, Marrow's defending. And he attacks for Star, place 1 counter on Pursued by the Past. and that will defeat Meryl. He does not have overkill, but I believe I am still stunned. And then the staggering strength will go away, followed by a face down card. That card is Source of Power. When defeated, amplify icon, basically. And I'm probably not going to thwart this out. I'm probably just going to try to rush down Apocalypse. So he still has Retaliate 1, unfortunately. I wanted him to change forms, but that's relatively okay. I need to draw my hand of 5 and see what I do now. Okay, so the Frostbite would have went away. I am stunned. I can use Ice Wall, I guess. Yeah, let's buy a turn setting up. So let's use 4 for Ice Wall. When an identity would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, place that damage here instead. Then if it has at least 8 damage, discard, and set a set-aside copy of Frostbite to the enemy that just attacked. And then I will attack to get rid of my stun, and I will end my turn there. So this is just going to buy some time because I need to buy some time because this is going to activate End Sabah. Main scheme gets 1, End Sabah activates. Discarding until I get a superpower. Superpower, Giant-sized Despot. When revealed, if Apocalypse is in Giant form, which he is not, he activates against you. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Giant form and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. 1 more gets put here. He's in Giant form, and he gets to heal 2 damage. Followed by him activating against me. He's attacking for 3. I'm just going to take this. Hopefully he does not boost for... No, it doesn't matter. He won't complete Ice Wall. So he boosts for nothing. So 3 damage gets put onto Ice Wall. And then 1 gets put on Pursued by the Past, which puts it up to 3. Followed... No, 4 puts onto Ice Wall because of the Amplify icon. Followed by a face down card of Plugged In, Superpower. When defeated... Okay, I can't thwart the main scheme. And it comes into play with 5. But that's okay. I need to draw my hand of 5. I always forget to do that for some reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I can go ham. Let's do... Probably gonna do my Clobber. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do my Clobber. So let's do Chill Out and Suppressing Fire for Clobber. Clobber deals 3 damage to an enemy. If this is the first card I played this round, which it is, return this card to my hand. So I get to deal 3 damage to to Apocalypse, and he does not have Retaliate. Yeah, he doesn't have Retaliate or anything. Followed by 2 for Power Bout, giving me plus 3 hit points, and I can exhaust this to pay for a Ice card. Followed by Iceman attacking to deal 1 damage to, or 3 damage to Apocalypse because of my aggressive conditioning, putting him up to 8. Exhausting my Cryokinetic Perception to draw a card. That card is another Clobber. I can't play it. And both Snow Clones attack for another 4, putting him up to 12 damage. And that's gonna be the end of my turn. I'm going to, I guess, keep Clobber in my hand. I might as well keep it in my hand. So draw 1 card, gives them a face down card because my deck is empty, and then shuffle my deck. So main scheme gets 1, 1 gets put on the Rise of Apocalypse. Hopefully he doesn't scheme. That would be very, very bad. Apocalypse attacks for 3 plus 2. That is going to destroy the Ice Wall, which will then discard this card and set a copy of Frostbite onto Apocalypse, so he gets that Frostbite back. And we get dealt a face down card. Oh, I need to draw the rest of my hand of 5. And we get dealt a face down card. The first face down card is going to be Drawing Nearer obligation thing, which will activate Pursued by the Past, but that's okay, I think. And then the second card is going to be Giant Growth. When defeated... Okay, this gives me plus 1 card every turn, and if I defeat it, Giant form stuff happens. I can't believe I'm actually out of tokens, but you know what? I'm not thwarting that anyways, so... Actually, Pursued by the Past is about to activate, so I'll just use this token. So then that's 2 more onto the Giant Growth. Okay, so now it's my turn, and Drawing Nearer activates. Discard the top card of my deck, places 1 counter Pursued by the Past, which will activate the villain stuff, putting out Pyro, playing with fire, and then these 3 get shuffled into the deck. However, they do not have guard. They have Quick Strike, so I'll use my target spotter to make it so they can't activate until the end of the phase. And I'm pretty sure I can just rush down Apocalypse. What do I have in my hand? I have a Clobber. Sure, let's just use a Clobber, I guess. Unfortunately, I can't pay for anything using my X Gene or my Power Bout, but that's relatively fine-ish. So let's use my Clobber to deal 3 damage to Apocalypse, putting him up to 15. And then Clobber comes back into my hand. I'll use 2 for Clobber again, dealing another 3 damage to him, putting him up to 18. Followed by me attacking him, dealing another 3 damage, putting him at 21. and he gets another frostbite counter. Snow clones both attack for 2, dealing another 4 damage, putting him up to 25, and he is defeated. He had 28 hit points. I have overkilled him, and I'm pretty sure nothing made it so I can't do any of that. I'm fairly certain of that. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I just defeated Apocalypse. Nice. Cool. Alright. That was a fun fight. Both of these characters were a lot simpler in terms of just like handling the game. Like Iceman is just like, yeah, go Oonga Boonga attack. That's great. You just attack and you do stuff, and getting out your snow clones is like essential in terms of getting your damage output out there. But other than that, you just attack. Great. Apocalypse is also a pretty simple fight. There's no like, I mean, there are a lot of like switching forms and stuff, but there's nothing that you're in control of, right? You don't get to make any decisions when it comes to that. You just follow the cards and do what the card says. So when the card effect is just switch to this form, and then when you switch to that form, you do something, then it's like, great, you just do it and you move on, right? You don't have to think about how it's going to build up to this thing, or that's going to build up to doing this thing or whatever. It's nothing like that. So that's it's nice and simple. I'm not sure if the Clan Aqaba stuff is very interesting. This just seems like a difficulty thing to be like, no, you're going to get dealt more additional cards every turn or every couple turns. But also you have to get unlucky enough to actually get these cards out. So not the biggest fan of Clan Aqaba. And as for the Rise of Apocalypse stuff, getting counters every turn, every 4 turns, you just get another superpower thing coming out. That's fine. I think that he's probably one of the weaker bosses. So it's good that he has something that like amps up the power just a little bit, which is probably why they included the Clan Aqaba stuff, because without it, then you get dealt even less cards. Not that he has trouble dealing cards. In theory, if you got the giant growth out, then that becomes a major thing that you have to deal with, because now it gives you +1 card every turn, and if you defeat it, then he activates against the player who defeated it if he is in giant form, and then he would get a tough status card. So when you defeat these, that would give him a tough status card, basically. So that's a way to slow you down, but if you're just rushing him down, then it doesn't really matter, I guess. So I guess if you are playing aggression and you're just rushing him down, you really see less of the flavor when it comes to Apocalypse, so maybe I should try this again in a different aspect. I suppose the same probably goes for the 4 horsemen, but those guys are like rough. Like you really, like the whole idea is that you have to rush them down. So I don't really see, like if I was playing Nightcrawler against the 4 horsemen, I would be like, please stop. Just stop. I don't want to deal with this, alright? But if you get to rush them down to deal enough damage to put them at 0 hit points, then their effects don't activate and you can actually like do stuff. So yeah, that was Apocalypse. I think that Apocalypse is a good fight actually, in terms of both being a bigger boss and in terms of being a fight that you don't have to like mentally recalibrate what you're playing in order to play against Apocalypse. What is Stage 3? Stage 3 still has Retaliate 1, just has 1 more attack and 24 hit points instead. He might actually be quite bearable in Expert mode. Like, as an Expert mode fight, he might not be like the worst thing in the universe. He will heal 3 when he goes into a giant form, which is more annoying. But other than that, he doesn't have like super big gimmicks that makes it so like I would despise playing him in Expert. I might want to give Expert a try. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that bad in terms of Expert, so I might give Expert a try. As for Iceman, I thought he would feel worse to play. He only has 1 thwart, so you basically have no effective thwart. But I guess if you are rushing down the enemies, then it works out pretty well. And also, in theory, you could stack up some frozen or whatever counters on the enemy and be like, okay, I can now flip over and heal and stuff because you will scheme for 0, right? That would be his way of flipping over, I suppose. But in that case, if you were to try to use that, you would need some way to stop them from activating so that they don't consume the frozen frostbite counters, is what they're called. The frostbites when they activate. So I'd have to try Iceman out with different aspects to see what he's like in those, but I think he might be really, really good. The snow clones are pretty essential, and I think that you might still actually be able to get away with playing Iceman in leadership because they can't have any upgrades attached to them, so you can't upgrade them. However, you can still use events like lead from the front, which gives all your characters +1 attack and +1 thwart towards the end of the phase. And even if you can't do those, then you can use other events that are like, yeah, let's say Apocalypse has Retaliate 1, and you're like, well, I don't want to attack him because they would deal damage to Snow Clone. But then you can use events that add Snow Clone's attack to Iceman to do your attack, and therefore you still get their attack out. So I might try leadership as well, but I would rather try some other aspects just to see what they're like with Iceman. I'm actually quite compelled to play Iceman again. And I'm quite compelled to play Apocalypse again, so that's pretty good. That's a good sign. As for the box overall, the Age of Apocalypse, I think that's a really, really good box, actually. You get two pretty powerful heroes in Bishop and Magic, and you get some interesting cards that go with them. Not so much with Magic, but with Bishop, you get the sidekick support, and that's like a whole archetype, and I love it when new archetypes are introduced because that means that you get to look back at your entire collection and be like, all right, well, what can I do with these cards now, right? The first fight, Unis, I think is a very, very good introduction fight. I think he's a much better first fight than Rhino. Like, why would I ever test a deck against Rhino when I could test it against Unis? That's a way better fight. The second fight, Four Horsemen, scary fight. You need a scary fight in every box, I think, and that's a scary fight, and that fulfills its purpose, and it's unique as well without being too different. Third one was Apocalypse, which was a bit more gimmicky, and I think it was a good gimmicky. I don't think it was a bad gimmicky where it's like, oh, you have to play a completely different game. You're still playing Marvel Champions. You're just going through the fight in a different way. So Apocalypse, also good, I think. Fourth one was Dark Beast. I need to play Dark Beast again. I need to play Dark Beast with any other character besides Nightcrawler. I think I would have a much easier time against Dark Beast with any character but Nightcrawler. So I still need to give him another shot to give him a fair shake. But in theory, in principle, I like the idea. I'm not too big a fan of the execution. And Apocalypse, like I said, or N7er, good fight. Like this. As for Standard 3, you might have noticed that I went through this entire wave using Standard 3, and I haven't been using like core cards like Avengers Mansion, Helicarrier, like those things. I mean, I've been using cards that have come out after this wave, right? Like I just used Target Spotter and I used Audacity, more importantly, Combat Training and Aggressive Conditioning. So I'm not opposed to using the cards from outside of this wave, but like the standard cards that I'm used to using, I'm like, you know what, let's just try not using those. Let's see how it fares using the resource generators and stuff in the Age of Apocalypse wave. And I think it is a little weaker. It kind of baffles me that they included It kind of baffles me that they included team building exercise in this wave when Iceman is the only character, well, besides Bishop. Iceman and Bishop and Magic. I think Magic has Mystical. Okay, never mind. But I was going to say that other heroes released in this wave don't have traits. They only have the X-Men trait. So like you can't actually play any cards using the team building exercise. But Iceman, Bishop, and Magic actually do have traits, so never mind. I'm a little bit wrong about that. And it's a good card to introduce into the card pool anyways. But I think Helicarrier is just better. I think it's worth the one more card to play Helicarrier instead. Plus, Helicarrier is easier to get out. There's so much support to get Helicarrier out onto the board. Anyways, that's it from me for this video. Hopefully I will see you next time, and I think that next time I'm not actually going to be playing a game. I think I want to talk about what my predictions are for the Fear No Evil box. Specifically what the heroes are going to be like. I have ideas, and I think those ideas are more about what I would do as opposed to what I think the designers are going to do, because I mean, I haven't seen all the cards and I don't know the designers too well in terms of how they like to do stuff. But yeah, I think the next video, I think I want to talk about what I think they will do or what I would do, because there's going to be an article. They have teased an article coming out on the 16th. So the next video will be on the 15th. So I think it'd be fun to do a predictions video on the 15th, and hopefully I will see you there. Goodbye.